السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد. First of all, you guys remember, inshallah ta'ala, 2 weeks from today, at this time, we'll be having our big night, inshallah azza wa jal. So it's going to be February 6th at 6 p.m. inshallah, the Irving Convention Center, fundraising for the Valley Islamic Center. So this time, 2 weeks from now, it's going to be a big evening, bidnillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala. Make sure that you plan for it, bring your family, bring your friends, inshallah. Hopefully we'll have a successful event, bidnillahi azza wa jal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it big and fruitful for all of us. Now, in Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, Riyadh al-Salihin, still discussing the book of as-Sidq, truthfulness. قال عن أبي خالد حكيم بن حزام رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم البيعان بالخيار ما لم يتفرقا فإن صدقا وبينا وبورك لهما في بيعهما فإن صدقا وبينا بورك لهما في بيعهما وإن كتما وكذبا محقت بركة بيعهما متفق عليه. In this hadith, subhanAllah, interesting, because just before Maghrib, before Maghrib, I was given a short talk for the sisters, the first annual, inshallah, Women's Entrepreneur Committee. They're discussing, of course, items of business and so on. So I spoke about Muslim business ethics. This hadith speaks about one of these ethics. And the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he says, Al-Bayyani bil-Khiyar ma lam yatafarraqa. Both parties in a business transaction have a right to annul that business transaction so long as they have not separated. What does that exactly mean? Islamically, and when you make a business deal, as long as you're still in the negotiation, any party at that moment has the right to annul the contract before it's signed, before it's finalized. Let's say you guys are buying a car. Someone is buying a car from another person. And as they're discussing the car, how much you want for this? I want 10,000. You know what? I can give 5,000. 5,000 is too little. Make it higher. I can go down to 9,000. He says, no, I can pay you 6,000. And then they get to the point of, let's say, 8,000. And then the buyer is thinking about it, and the seller is saying, it's good, the car is mashallah, this and that. And the guy says, you know what? Okay, I think 8,000 is still fine. I can accept that. But then maybe within the negotiation of things, he said, you know what, I changed my mind. Is that acceptable? At this moment, yes. Because there was nothing solid yet. They're still negotiating it. But if he said 8,000, I accept, they shook hands, I'm going to go get you the money, inshallah ta'ala, and I'll be back. And then he calls the phone from there. He says, 8,000 is too much. How about 7,000? Now that's not acceptable. Because we've already accepted the deal. And if you're already going to back out, if there were any written contracts on that, it becomes binding upon you to fulfill the contract. But since it's verbal, unfortunately people these days do not really take verbal contract as serious contract, unless it's documented. But it's still considered a serious contract Islamically. Especially if there were witnesses, they can testify that he agreed on 8,000, he has to pay him 8,000. Especially if the guy takes the car with him. Khalas, now it becomes binding. You have to pay the 8,000. You cannot just say, well, I think 8 is still too much, I'll pay you 7,000. That's all I can pay you right now. You can't do this. And if the other party accepted out of necessity or maybe feeling pressured because of the situation, you are going to be sinful for that. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't put a person in that position. Unless it's still in the negotiation process. That's a different story. So that's the first part of the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ then he said, فَإِن صَدَقَ وَبَيَّنَا. If they were truthful to each other and they explain everything about whatever that they're dealing with. Let's say if you know that something hitting in the car and the guy is asking you, how's the car? It's awesome. Any problem? Not that I know of. And you know that it has 2 accidents. If someone checks the Carfax, you'll find 2 accidents and something like that. Or maybe the car has transmission problem. Or the car has oil problem. And you just added some of that fluid to clean the system. So for a few weeks and few days, it comes out like clean, right? And then they realize afterwards, oh my God, it has a big problem. That's going to cost that much money. The Prophet ﷺ says, فَإِن صَدَقَا وَبَيَّنَا, if they were truthful with each other, and they explained everything, and they made everything clear, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, بُورِكَ لَهُمَا فِي بَيْعِهِمَا, Allah will put so much barakah and blessing in that sale. For the seller, barakah in his money that he earned, and for the buyer, barakah and blessing in the product that he just took. And then he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَإِن كَتَمَ وَكَذَبَ مُحِقَتْ بَرَكَةُ بَيْعِهِمَا. But if they lie about it, which means they're not truthful about it, and they were hiding and concealing things from each other, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يَمْحَقُ الْبَرَكَةِ, which means Allah will take that blessing away from them. Means they might get the transaction done, but there will be no barakah over there. Like two people cheating the system, for example, by making certain transaction for each other, and then both of them are happy. We're done, we got away with it, it's awesome. But that's cheating. Or someone, the same thing with the car, the guy was hiding everything, he got the money and he think it was okay. No, Allah will not put barakah in that money that you earn. So always be truthful, whether it's in matters of dunya or matters of the akhirah. You be truthful first of all to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the meaning of ikhlas and sincerity, and then truthful to yourself as well. And we're going to get more inshallah on these ahadith as we move on further inshallah in the book. Bidnillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala. May Allah make us among those who are truthful, ya jama'ah, and give us the ability to stand inshallah ta'ala upright in this path. Wallahu a'lam. Any question? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. But then later on, say the owner actually switches and he says, you know what, I want to do a credit check on you. Okay. So in that case, can the buyer say, okay, now the contract stops because you told me one thing and now you're kind of going back on it. Okay, so basically the buyer or the seller said, I'm not going to do a credit check on you. And they made a deal or not yet? They made a deal. Yes, it's all deal. Did they sign any contract? It's still verbal, right? So what was the deal before they left? Because he said he left and then he said, I'm gonna make a credit check on you. So when they separated, why is this new addition to the contract then? Maybe just the guy had the seller had second thoughts, now I'm giving it to somebody unknown. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, still in this case, even though they separated in that fashion, but there was no money down payment, were there? Okay, it's still in the khayar. You see, when it comes to the khayar, which means the option of return, there's usually a grace period. And Islamically, the grace period is 3 days. So within that time, if there was no actual transaction of anything, like down payments and so on, then it's still suspended until a serious follow-up on that deal takes place. Wallahu a'lam. Naam. Yes?
So if you're past the negotiation period, you're actually at the contract phase, and one of the people passes away, is it still a binding contract on the relatives or beyond?
So in the process of doing the transaction, someone of the two contracting parties passed away. Is it still binding on you? There's something called iqala in Islam. The iqala is the option of return or annulment. And the Prophet ﷺ, he recommends people to accept from each other the annulment of contracts. Which meaning, if someone, like you said, it wasn't my deal, it was my dad, and my father passed away before he fulfilled his promise of this contract. I have no interest in that contract. Do I have to fulfill my father's contract, even though I don't have no interest in that myself? The answer is no. So you can go back again, tell them, listen, I want to annul that contract. And hopefully they will accept. Wallahu a'lam. خير إن شاء الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.